Larry Holder, Jeff Duncan here with you. The Pelicans on an historic run in franchise history, having won 10 in a row. They go on the road, their last 4 games, win all of them. And, Jeff, I think if you're a Pelicans fan or if you're just a New Orleans sports fan, they're returning home to take on the Wizards and are seriously competing in the Western Conference, something you and me did not expect after DeMarcus Cousins going down. But people need to be on board with this team at this point.
Well, where does this come from? I mean, none of us saw it coming. I don't even think the Pelicans saw it coming. They were 1-5 in the first 6 games after Cousins goes down. It looks like the season is all but over. And then somewhere along the line, they found themselves. You have to give credit to Dell Demps, the general manager, and Alvin Gentry, the head coach, for pushing the right buttons, making the right moves. I mean, I realize desperate times call for desperate measures. They made a bunch of moves, kind of remade the roster, and they've caught fire. This team is playing with confidence right now, and I think they've got a great shot now to not only make the playoffs, but maybe get one of those top 4 seeds and get a home court series, which they haven't done often in the history of this franchise in New Orleans.
Now, you say that. If I'm looking at this, I'm just figuring the Pelicans need to finish somewhere between 3 and 6 because you don't want to be 7 or 8 and have to take on Houston and Golden State. And the fact that we're even talking about this is still remarkable in my mind. But I don't know if the Pelicans necessarily need a home playoff series because they played so well on the road, and that's been part of their success. Look, I just alluded to it in the opening. They won 4 in a row on the road and have won numerous road games throughout this 10-game win streak. They're able to overcome all this adversity, and they win in different ways. They win in cardiac arrest time when they're down 17. They'll blow a lead, then a team will storm back, and yet they'll still prevail. And they've been able to step on the neck of some teams as well. So they've done it in so many different ways.
Well, they've showed great resiliency, winning 3 games in overtime during this winning streak, and also showing how they can come back after squandering big leads. Lots of times in the past, they wouldn't have had the mental fortitude to overcome that. But like I said before, they're playing with great confidence right now. And I think it's fair to say this is the most surprising turn of events we've seen in New Orleans pro sports, at least, since the 2006 Saints season, where it kind of came out of nowhere with Sean Payton and Drew Brees coming off the Katrina year. They were 3-13. They go to the NFC Championship game that year. No one expected that, and no one certainly expected this run from the Pelicans after losing DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bit of a stretch. I think you're right in that we did not see this coming, and they did take a dip, and then they had to get it back together,
yes. And
now they've won 10 in a row. So I'm curious to see what happens Friday night in the Smoothie King Center as the Pelicans return home, 3-game home set. They start off with the Washington Wizards. So it should be an interesting matchup. Should be an interesting time here in New Orleans sports and with the Pelicans. So for Larry Holder, for Jeff Duncan, thanks for joining us.